Welcome back to Newsmax TV's coverage of America Votes 2016. And we can tell you right now, in terms of the electoral vote, Donald Trump continues to inch closer to the magic number of 270. Right now, Mr. Trump at 254 electoral votes as opposed to 209 for Mrs. Clinton. Obviously, a good time for us to bring in everyone here on the anchor desk. John Bogman, Miranda Kahn, Ed Berliner, and from Newsmax New York, I believe Bill Tucker is up there getting there. He sits and he's ready. It's you. It's me. It's Billy T. No, that was Ernest T. That was a different show. But what about it, Brother Bill?
Yes, indeed.
What about tonight?
Comes down to two states. We've been saying, JD, this is fascinating. It comes down to two states. Hillary needs to win Pennsylvania and Michigan in order to win the whole thing. Trump just needs to win Michigan. And right now he's up by 1.1%, thin, narrow margin. This is coming down to the wire. And boy, who would have thought this at the beginning of the evening?
Well, the other thing we're looking at, too, is not only does it appear that Donald Trump is going to win the presidency, there's going to be a Republican Senate and a Republican-controlled House. They're going to have a mandate to govern. What is going to be the priorities? What are they going to tackle? We've heard Trump talk about Obamacare. Will that really be the first thing that they tackle?
And so much of what we've talked about in the last couple of months has been the discourse in the Republican Party and how there is going to be trouble in the Republican Party, how the split has gone on. Wait a minute, let's stop. There's going to be an even bigger fight now between Democrats who are going to try to figure out where did their vote go. Because it's obviously the Democrats did not show up in force for Hillary Clinton tonight. They didn't turn the people that they thought they would. So the Democrats are going to have just as much of a discourse now as we've been calling for the last couple of months of Republicans. Still going to be fights in the GOP, but the Democrats got to wonder where their votes went.
You know what happens, Miranda? Victory is a marvelous salve for hurt feelings. What we were talking about a while back about the gloom and doom and the Republicans fighting and Paul Ryan will be at Donald Trump's
I think they're going to come together now.
Well, you know, because the issue we just mentioned, Obamacare is huge. That's a common issue. That's low-hanging fruit. And guys like Paul Ryan, I just quote the Prime Minister, the late, great Benjamin Disraeli of Great Britain, "I must follow the people. After all, am I not their leader?" Paul Ryan's getting a wake-up call that Americans want their border protected. They don't want amnesty. And I would expect the speaker will become a listener. Either that or he will step down from his job.
I certainly think we're going to see a lot more Republicans jump on board that Trump train after tonight. That's for sure.
But I think we're also looking at the mandate from the people. The American voters have spoken saying we are tired of career politicians. We are tired of business being done as usual. We want somebody in there different. We don't care about his past. We don't care what he said or what he's done. We're just tired of people who continue to get in the office, basically spend the public dole, and don't get anything done. It's a revolutionary time in American politics.
JD, we've heard some comments, and not directly from the Trump campaign, that there's a list that Trump is keeping, the people who broke with Donald Trump. Does he go Abraham Lincoln and essentially say, come on in, whatever was said in the past is in the past? How do you, as Donald Trump, should he become President-elect Trump, how do you reach out to those folks? What's the best way to do that?
Well, the first thing you do not do is rush to them. You do have staffers, and you do create an environment where, you know, we're very happy to work together. And it will be a situation where the Washington crowd, hello, George F. Will, hello, Bill Kristol, all the punditocracy will continue.
Pundits. We're talking about the people who got reelected.
Yeah, no, the people who got reelected, most of them are going to be there. There will be a thorn in the side with John McCain, who looks to himself as the last
Mike
hero.
Lee, who got reelected.
Yeah, Mike Lee, I think, again, Obamacare unites them. There will be some division, but I think really within official Washington, in terms of picking the cabinet, it's going to be back to the future. You're going to see a guy like Newt Gingrich probably over at State. But, you know, this is a question for Bill Tucker, who has spent more time taking a look at the behavior of TV people and political people. How do you think it's going to work out, Bill? What would you advise Mr. Trump to do?
Well, I would advise Mr. Trump to hold on to his position of strength. I wouldn't rush to anybody. I would let them come to me. I suspect that that's going to be his style. He claims he wants to be a uniter, and he can be a uniter in being gracious in terms of accepting those people as they come to him. I don't think you're going to see a conciliatory Donald Trump within his own party. Now what's going to be interesting is if in fact he goes ahead and wins this, which it looks like he might at this point, If he does win it, I think he needs to reassure the country, I'm not that crazy guy. I'm not going to hit the nuclear button. We're not all going to die, and the economy's not going to go all down the tubes. I heard you. Obamacare is a problem, and we have to fix it now because we're messing with your health care. And I think that was one of the big issues. They got people to go to his side. What he, in fact, does, we'll have to see. But I think, he's a real estate developer. He's a businessman. He's a New Yorker. I don't think you're going to see any rush to being, oh gosh, guys, come on into the camp now. I think
Also like to see him bring in some
kissing of
younger
the
blood.
ring.
Seriously, I'd like to see him bring in, when it comes down to the cabinet and the people in position, stop dealing with the people who are the 60s, the 70s, and the old politicians who've been there. Bring in some new blood.
Well, that's very good, because there are people who will be brought in. There is no shortage of talent.
Young talent. Young talent.
I couldn't hear you. What was that again?
Let me say it again. Young
I'm with
talent,
you, Ed. I hear
okay?
you.
Yeah, I think we
I
got
hear
the
you, Ed.
message. Let me tell you, they're there. And understand this about Trump. This was not some sort of haphazard, stumble bum kind of thing that is some sort of cosmic realignment. The guy has been a success for a reason. He understands how to get people together and make things work. He has low-hanging fruit. He will put people in place, young people, Ed, as well as a mixture of a few
we need it.
seasoned veterans, and it will be a good team. He will work to build a team, because unlike reality TV, he cannot say to the Senate or the Congress, you're fired. They'll have a chance to work together.
Do you think there's still any remaining animosity, JD? As you mentioned, and as Bill talked about, being slow to reach out to these folks, but as you've instructed me, if you don't have the coalition in the United States Senate, basically your agenda can get scuttled.
Well, again, he will sit down with leadership, but it's going to be a situation very different. Because instead of Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan lecturing him about politics, he's pulled off what no Republican has done in recent memory. So it changes things a bit, not to be arrogant, not to be condescending, but to say, look, fellas, I won this thing. Let's work together. It'll be that kind of atmosphere. So I see it, but it's going to be great to cover, is it not?
Yes.
Of course, still, he's away from it a little bit. He's a little bit less than 20.
209 is still what the electoral vote count is.
Got to get to 270. We've got more going on tonight, as we are going to hang in here and take some of your calls at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. Stay